Victor Newman, the powerful and cold-hearted man of Genoa City, has never been the type to be fooled. Throughout his life, he has built an empire with his intelligence, determination, and the ability to see through things that others try to hide. But this time, the strange change in his wife Nikki Newman has left him confused. Nikki, who has always been his greatest spiritual support, is now hiding a secret that makes Victor uneasy. Victor's premonition: the secret is buried deep. From the very beginning, Victor has noticed Nikki's strange behavior. The times she avoided his gaze, her faltering answers, and even the tension on her face. Nikki, who had stood firm through all the storms, now appears fearful. This not only worries Victor, but also angers him. He cannot bear to be pushed out of the life of the person he loves the most. One evening at the Newman mansion, Victor decided not to hesitate any longer. Sitting across from Nikki in the elegant living room, the flickering firelight reflecting off his stern face, Victor said in a low but clear voice, "You're hiding something from me, Nikki. I'm not stupid, and I won't let myself be pushed out. Tell me, so I can protect you." Nikki froze. In that moment, she wanted to scream, to share the fear that had been weighing on her mind for weeks. But she couldn't. Nikki feared that if Victor knew the truth, he would rush into danger without thinking. And this time, she wasn't sure Victor could stand up to this enemy. Jordan, the dark threat. What Nikki didn't tell Victor was the return of Jordan, a man from her criminal past. Jordan, recently released from prison, was looking to reclaim what he thought was rightfully his. Nikki knows he is dangerous, but what really scares her is Claire's plan, a woman Nikki has faced in the past. Claire doesn't just want to hurt Nikki. She wants to wipe Nikki off the map forever. A cunning and ruthless person, Claire doesn't hesitate to use Jordan as a pawn in her scheme. Nikki knows that if she does nothing, things could end in tragedy. But how can she stand up to Claire and Jordan alone? Victoria Newman, between loyalty and truth. Victoria Newman, Victor's strongest and most ambitious daughter, has recognized similar signs in her mother. As the one who has always been by Nikki's side, Victoria knows that her mother is under terrible pressure. Although Nikki tries to hide it, Victoria cannot ignore this abnormality. However, Victoria is also put in a difficult position. Should she break her vow of silence with her mother and tell Victor the truth? One evening, in her office at Newman Enterprises, Victoria confronts Nikki. "Mom, I know something is going on. You can't hide it from me. We're family, we've been through this together. Let me help you." Nikki finds herself in a difficult situation. She knows Victoria will do anything to protect her family, but she also worries that this will put her daughter in danger. Nikki decides to plead with Victoria to keep quiet, at least until she can sort out the problem. But Victoria, with her determined nature and fierce love for her family, isn't sure she can stand by and watch everything fall apart. Claire and Jordan, pawns in a deadly game. While Nikki and Victoria try to keep things under wraps, Claire continues to execute her plan. Claire is an ambitious woman with no mercy. She has spent years plotting her revenge on Nikki, and now she's using Jordan to get her way. Claire approaches Jordan with promises of revenge and power. He, full of hatred and bitterness, easily falls into her trap. But Claire does not foresee that Jordan also has his own plans. He is not just a pawn, but a dangerous person, ready to betray at any time. In another development, Sharon Newman, who has suffered many tragedies in her life, finally finds the opportunity to break the chains that bind her. Sharon, after years of being oppressed by pain and past obsessions, decides to stand up. With the support of her loved ones, she begins a new chapter, where she is no longer a victim but a victor. The turning point comes when Claire decides to end her plan. She lures Nikki to a secret location, where she plans to carry out the final act to erase Nikki. But Nikki is not alone. Victor, who has been secretly watching everything, appears at the right time. The confrontation in a deserted place between Nikki, Victor, and Claire is dramatic. Claire, cornered, reveals her entire plot, but she doesn't expect that Victor has prepared everything. Sharon Newman, a character who has experienced countless storms in her life, is now faced with an equally dangerous situation. Although she has managed to escape her chains and confinement, freedom is still not completely within reach. Sharon's struggle is not simply to escape, but also to face a series of new conspiracies and dangers that await. The imperfect escape plan. Sharon once thought that escaping the hands of her captors was a victory, but she did not expect that it was only the beginning of an arduous journey. In a moment of loneliness and panic, Sharon saw a small ray of hope to escape. She took advantage of the guards' carelessness, broke the ropes and threw herself into the cold night. Her footsteps echoed in the dark forest, each heavy breath mingling with the rustling sound of the wind. But Sharon did not know that Jordan, the mastermind behind the plot, had quickly discovered her disappearance. Jordan, with his ruthless and unforgiving nature, did not allow anyone to escape his control. He chased Sharon, and soon, he caught up with her again. In a tense situation, Jordan appeared before Sharon with a cold gaze, shattering all her little hopes. Before Sharon could react, he knocked her unconscious again and dragged her back to the prison. This time, Jordan tied Sharon tighter, trying to ensure that she would never have a chance to escape. Jordan and Claire, dangerous relationship. Meanwhile, Claire, a scheming character, was secretly planning her own plan to deal with Jordan. Although they were once allies, Claire had now lost all trust in him. She hinted at using poison to eliminate Jordan, and her decisions became increasingly reckless. Claire arranged a meeting with Jordan, ostensibly to discuss a new deal. She brought along Jordan's favorite cup of tea, which contained a lethal dose of poison. Claire, with a knowing smile, gently invited Jordan to enjoy the tea. But Jordan was no fool. He had taught Claire all the tricks of survival, and that made him more wary than ever. As soon as Claire pushed the cup of tea towards him, Jordan's sharp eyes realized something was wrong. He did not drink it. He put down the cup of tea and looked straight at Claire, growling. "You think you can fool me? Have you forgotten that I taught you how to do these things?" Claire was undaunted. With an iron will, she challenged Jordan. "If I can't do it this time, I won't stop until you're gone forever." Betrayal and rage. Jordan, despite his anger at Claire's betrayal, did not rush to take action. Instead, he decides to warn her with threatening words. The confrontation between the two former enemies and allies has now turned into a ruthless battle. Jordan realizes that Claire is not simply trying to fight him, but is aiming to completely destroy all of his power. Claire, despite failing in her first attempt, refuses to back down. She insists that Jordan's death is only a matter of time. "Do you think you are stronger than me? I've been in the dark long enough. Now, it's my turn to control this game." Sharon, still not free. While Claire and Jordan are engaged in a power struggle, Sharon is still trapped in her own battle for survival. Tied up and guarded more closely, she must look for another chance to escape. However, each time she tries, she fails. Sharon gradually realizes that it is not just physical strength, but intelligence and patience that can help her win. Sharon's situation is getting worse. Not only does she have to deal with Jordan, but she also has to fight her own fears and despair. But what Sharon doesn't know is that on the outside, Victor Newman and Nikki Newman have begun to suspect her disappearance. They decide to investigate and may be the last hope to rescue Sharon. Claire and Jordan's end. Jordan, after facing Claire's attempted poisoning, decides that it's time to eliminate her completely. He silently follows Claire, waiting for a moment of weakness to strike. However, Claire is not easily defeated. The confrontation between the two dangerous people becomes a game of life and death, where only one can survive. As Claire prepares to launch a decisive blow, Jordan suddenly counterattacks. But what neither of them expected was the appearance of Victor Newman. Victor, with his quick wit and decisiveness, intervenes at the right time, surprising both Jordan and Claire. Victor not only rescues Sharon, but also makes sure that both Claire and Jordan pay for their crimes. Subscribe to Yandar for the latest news on our channel. Young and the Restless spoilers Friday, January 17 revealed that Victor Newman, the powerful tycoon of Genoa City, has always been known for not leaving anything out. However, in recent days, Victor has sensed something unusual from his wife, Nikki Newman. Nikki, who has always been proud of being Victor's safe haven, now seems to be hiding something too big. Victor's sharp instincts and deep understanding of the people around him make it impossible for him to ignore. Suspicion and confrontation. Victor can't help but ask questions when he notices Nikki avoiding his eyes and becoming suspiciously cautious. He clearly feels the insecurity hidden behind her half-truths. Having been used to facing big secrets in life, Victor decides not to let this situation continue. During a tense evening at the Newman mansion, Victor frankly asks Nikki, "What are you hiding from me, Nikki? You know I wouldn't be like this without a reason." Nikki, with an averted gaze, could only respond with silence. Her heart was torn between protecting Victor and sharing the horrifying truth she was facing. She knew that if Victor knew, he would not hesitate to throw himself into danger to protect her. But is this truth too much for Victor to handle? Shadows from the past, Jordan and Claire. What Nikki was trying to hide was the appearance of Jordan, a ghost from her dark past. Jordan had just been released from prison, and his presence was a direct threat to the life Nikki had tried so hard to preserve. But the real threat did not come from Jordan alone. Claire, an equally dangerous character, had planned to erase Nikki from this life forever. Claire relentlessly set traps for Jordan, using him as a pawn to achieve her goals. Claire's every move is carefully calculated, and Nikki knows that if she does nothing, things could end in disaster. But can Nikki continue to keep this secret without Victor's help? Victoria Newman, will she break the vow of silence? Not only Nikki, Victoria Newman is also drawn into this dangerous vortex. As the spiritual and ambitious successor of Victor, Victoria understands the importance of keeping secrets to protect the family. However, witnessing her mother's obsession and anxiety every day, Victoria begins to feel pressured. She wonders whether continuing to keep the vow of silence is really the best way, or if it's time to let Victor know the truth and face the threat with the family. Victoria, with her decisive nature, has considered telling her father the truth many times. But each time, Nikki convinces her to keep it a secret. Nikki always insists that Victor has taken on too much of a burden, and this time, she wants to deal with it herself. The final battle with Claire. Meanwhile, Claire continues to execute her plan. She uses every trick in the book to lure Jordan into her trap, making him believe that Nikki is the sole cause of his misfortunes. Claire wants Jordan to be her weapon, but what she doesn't expect is that Jordan has his own plans. The final confrontation between Nikki and Claire takes place on a rainy night in Genoa City. Claire has prepared everything to end this game, but she doesn't know that Victor has been secretly watching Nikki all this time. With Victor's unexpected intervention, Claire's plans are ruined. Jordan, when faced with Victor's power, reveals his true colors. The tense encounter ends with Claire and Jordan being captured, but not before the entire Newman family faces the painful truth of what Nikki has been through. Sharon Newman, escape from the chains. In another story, Sharon Newman, who has always been bound by the pain of her past, finally finds the strength to break free from the chains. Sharon, after years of internal struggle, decides to stand up and take back control of her life. With the help of her loved ones, she begins a new chapter, full of hope and freedom. The Newman family, bonding again. After all the events, the Newman family once again realizes the importance of unity. No matter how many challenges they face, their love and loyalty to each other remains their greatest strength. Nikki, Victor, Victoria, and Sharon are now not just individuals with their own goals, but a family that is always ready to fight for each other.